Hey, what's happening, everybody? It is a Thursday night. Time for another episode of Thrifty Business. I'm your one host, Jay. Hello.
Hi, I'm Debbie in Vacaville, California.
Hey, Debbie in Vacaville, California. How the heck are you?
I am good. We just sold a plush toy for $89.
No, as we were getting ready to go live, you cha-chinged. I love it. All right, I want to let everyone know tonight we have a live studio audience.
Hi.
Let me go high and come down. There we go.
Aloha.
As Rory and Kari and some other chick.
Never seen before.
So if you hear anyone coughing, that's Rory choking on a pretzel.
It's
So
a great pretzel, though. You're gonna hear about it all night long.
So let's get right to our guest, and every week I try and match up my rum and my mug to our guest. Time for Jay's Tiki Talk. All right, our guest this week is the one, the only Guusje Moore. Hello, Guusje. How are you?
Hi there.
Hi, Guusje.
What rum do you have? What rum has Houston connotations?
All right, so I found out Guusje is a Dutch word that means Appleton. So
That's good, man.
that's the best I could do tonight with that. However, I do have a Houston Tiki Mug from a place called Howie's
Oh, I like that.
that unfortunately closed right after we were there.
Oh my goodness, you're
So
kidding.
this is a really collectible now. It is a volcano that does have a top. I don't have the top on it, but you put the 151 in, you light it on fire, and this got a little slot for your straw. So your drink can be flaming, and you can drink the drink at the same
Is
time.
that the one we went to?
Mm-hmm. They are now an Irish pub, unfortunately. That's very sad.
That was kind of an odd location for a tiki bar. The one that you went to in my neighborhood, I think is doing much better.
Yeah, we were there, and it was a Saturday night, and I looked around, and there was like 14 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to Stacy, I go, look, there's only 2 other customers besides us. If we weren't here on a Saturday night, they have 2 people.
Wow.
Oh, very sad. All right, Guusje, enjoy the show. Sit back, relax, and we'll see you in about 20 minutes.
All right.
I'm drinking out of a Beach Bum Berry mug.
What is that tonight? That is the Christmas.
Yes, this is the Santa sipping one. And I was looking up some stuff on him. He's the Indiana Jones of tiki drinks. And he is one of the world's leading rum experts. So guess what I have in here? Wine.
I was going to say, don't ruin the word wine.
I can't help it.
All right, just for that, we're going right to the scores. You've ruined tiki for me. All right, time for our scores of the week. The most awesome things that Debbie and I have sold this week. These are bolos. Be on the lookout. Things that you should be searching for. Hey, look at that.
Oh, look what I sold. This is the Sippin' Santa surfing. That's a special. You can't get these anywhere. There's only, I think, 12 places in the U.S. that they were offering these. We fortunately had the Tiki Bar in Sacramento, the Jungle Bird, where we got ours. So we sold one. Actually, we sold, I think this is our 3rd one we've sold.
All right.
But I still have one for you, Jason.
Oh, thank you. And what'd you pay for it?
I think they were 18.
There you go.
18 or maybe they were 25. I can't remember.
$60.
Yeah. And then these plates, these came from my profit pile from a very long time ago. I learned about this from Lynn Drawley years and years ago, and I finally dug them out. We sold the 4 for $54.99, and they are a pain to ship. We double box them, and I didn't remember what I paid for them because there's 3 more of these that we have in some bowls. So I remember getting them. I know the Goodwill I got them at, so I doubt I paid more than $10 for all of it.
Nice.
Yes.
All right, we go from breakable to an easy to ship thing.
Oh my gosh, yes, $99 for this Christmas stocking that I paid $2.99 for at a thrift store. I always look for the unique ones because you'll see a pile of Christmas stockings. Just dig through and you get a feeling. And this one is a brand. It had a label inside, the Vintage House, so it was easy to list. But yeah,
I'm guessing, Deb, this is one of your listings from when eBay lost all our pictures because there's only 1 photo.
Exactly. Yeah, I was like, where's the rest of them? So sold.
Damn eBay.
And this is fun. I paid $1.99 each, and there's 6 of them. And one lady bought all of them. So it came out to be $84. And then, she kept messaging me and asked me if I would combine shipping. I said, absolutely. Because, we always work hard to ship for as little as possible and then refund money back. So yeah, I was happy to see those goes. I love selling wallpaper.
Awesome. All right. My first score this week is Cassettes. Have you looked at Cassettes yet? Rolling Stones Cassettes for $25. I paid 50 cents for it. And I knew it was going to be a good one because I had never seen No Stone Unturned before as a normal release. And it sold pretty quick. I only had it listed for maybe less than a month.
And made in England.
Yeah. I got this diesel leather jacket from a guy who I bought Tiki Mugs from, and then he realized what I do for a living. He goes, hey, I got all this clothes. You want it? Like $10 a piece. And it was like leather jackets and motorcycle boots. I'm like, $10 a piece? Sure, fine.
Wow.
I sold this jacket for $56, and it went to Japan.
Nice.
AWOL Nation is a band, but most people don't know that or know them. And so this was just sitting on the rack for a long time at Savers here in Vegas for $3.99, and I sold for $49.
Sweet.
And this wasn't a huge score, but here's why I wanted to share it. It's a Hawaiian muumuu that, where's it going? Yep, to Hawaii. I love when I sell Hawaiian clothing back to Hawaii. It just makes my day.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And, oh, you know what? I've got the sound effect. I know what sound effect to use for this new segment.
Nice.
I never used a sound effect for this segment before. So my CD score of the week. All right. You have seen a CD score for weeks now. And I think the highest we've gotten is a $100 CD scored. Be prepared to be blown out of your seat.
Okay.
All right. This is Lothar and the Hand People. Space Hymn. Now, when we're done, I played it for him. When we're done today, go YouTube this and you'll be like, what the F? It's brand new. I paid $7.99 at a record store, $8. So here's my sale on Amazon. Are you ready?
Yes. Look at their long hair. I can tell it's from the
Drum roll,
70s.
please. Are you ready, Deb?
I'm ready.
Actually, I'm going to put Debbie's face on the screen, and then I'll show. All right, ready, Deb?
No way! No way!
375 smackarooskies.
That's insane. How did you know to price it that high?
Because the cheapest like new on Amazon was $200. So I thought, all right, mine's brand new. I will go $375. Now, how do I know that? Because I'm the king of flipping CDs, and I can teach you how to flip CDs. So when I was doing the webinar a couple weeks ago, which you can still order on flippingcds.com, I had so many people come out of the woodwork and say, this is bullshit. He's charging you $10 for nothing. No one buys CDs anymore. And I would actually share with these naysayers, I would share my screenshots, and they would come back with, oh, you're photoshopping them.
Oh,
because that's what I got time to do. So I sold a $375 CD this week. If you have not got my webinar yet, go over to www.flippingcds.com. It's 2.5 hours of amazing content.
yes.
Anyone in the chat right now that took it will tell you that. Yes, I'm tooting my own horn, but everyone who's taken it has loved it. And the successes I am seeing in the thrifting board and the Secret Beach are amazing. All these CDs that people never would have noticed, but thanks to what I teach in that webinar. And right now, if you go there, when you go to order it, there is a discount code to the end of the year to take half off. So, and I teach you, besides teaching you what to look for, I teach you ways to go through it quickly in thrift stores.
So what's the code?
You'll see it at flippingcds.com.
Oh, flippingcds.com. I'm still in shock. I am still in shock of seeing $889. I can't believe it.
Yeah, so $8, brand new at a record store. So my good friend Rory said, who the hell's still buying CDs? He said, don't these stores know? And I go, they know to a point. I know more. So I can flip CDs all day long. Now, speaking of, I was on a 2-day CD buying trip, which I'll be sharing a lot more with you coming up. But I bought 267 CDs for $1,600. Works out to about $5.89 a CD. And I'm going to sell them on average for around $25 a CD. So it times out 25 by 267, give or take. And that's what and I'll be sharing all that. But there are so much money to be made. Go sign up for my webinar and make yourself a ton of money. It's easy. It's fun.
Absolutely. Because you always over deliver. I was going to tell you real quick too. We were listening to, I guess, Hair Nation on the radio with my brother. And they said something about from the cassette era or something along. I was like, they're talking cassettes on the radio because they still sell.
Yep. Yep. All right. Not everything can be winners, can they, Deb?
No, sadly.
Now it's time for our duds of the week. Do not let our mistakes be yours. Now, I didn't have too many duds this week, but I had a couple t-shirts. I didn't know this band, but then again, I'm getting older and I'm not really paying attention to the younger bands as much. So I thought I'd give it a try. It's the AJR band. Yeah, I got nothing. But it was a 2018 tour shirt. So I figured, hey, it's their most recent tour shirt. I finally got an offer of 15 after being up for like 4 months. And that was the only nibble I ever had. So I happily took it and sent it on its merry way. And then I've had this Better Call Saul t-shirt up through the last 2 seasons. Oh, wow. And that's actually a mistake. That should have said $10. I sold this one for 10. I was like, bye-bye. 2 seasons and no one bought it. I figured, all right, no one cares. No one cares. So sad, but it's gone.
Oh, well. Oh, these neckties. A couple years ago, I went to an estate sale and I just bought everything. I said, how much for all the neckties? And she said, $25. So I bought them all. I picked out the better ones and sold those and made some lots of like 3. And this is everything that's left, 54 of them. And it's been like 2 years and no one's buying them. So I'm going to have to figure out what to do. But I even offer free shipping. I have them all inside a long, flat rate, large game board box. And I'm going to ship them to them for free. So somebody please buy them.
You would have to clean it. You can wear a fresh tie every day for over 2 months.
Yes, yeah. And it's another one. I think my prices are too high. This one, I think he and I, on this necktie, we've become best friends because he's been here like 4 years now and it's not going anywhere. So
it's so old. You have your name in the picture, which is a no-no anymore.
Oh, you're right. Oh,
naughty, Debbie.
I got to take that out. And no one's caught me. Shh. I'll go fix that.
Oh, you're going to get reported. All right, now it's time for... Where in the world did our shit go? If you are not selling internationally, you are leaving out 7.3 billion with a B potential customers. Sadly, Debbie doesn't have an international sale this week, but I always have a ton. And this week, it's going to Buccinesco in Italy, outside of Milan. And someone in Buccinesco needed Sears sportswear jeans from the early 80s.
Love it. They have a flair.
Don't ask me why. Jeans with a pleat is not all that hot, but someone in Italy needs these. So I love shipping internationally.
Okay, so wait. Do clothing fads start in Italy first and then come our way?
Yeah. So apparently Sears 80s jeans are coming back.
Okay, we better stock up. You heard it here first.
Oh yeah. Now it's time for close encounters of the thrifty kind. I haven't done one of these for a while, but I had a pretty funny thrifty encounter. All right, Debbie, I'm putting you on the spot.
Uh-oh.
Who is this?
It's the Rasputin guy.
Right, that is Rasputin. He was a Russian mystic. There is a chain of record stores in the Bay Area called Rasputin. Here's their logo with a picture of Rasputin. Apparently, you have to look like Rasputin to work there.
Oh.
Because this dude looks just like Rasputin.
Maybe it's his like...
Rasputin's name now is Matt.
Maybe he's a great-great-grandson.
I mean, I was floored. I'm like, am I on a TV show right now? Because...
Wow.
This dude, no, not twins. Two different pictures. But couple eggs. But yeah, Rasputin works at Rasputin's.
I would have asked him to pull his beanie off and then made him stand next to the picture.
I walked in and I texted Stacey right away. I'm like, Rasputin is alive and he works here.
That is awesome. Wow.
All right, now it's time for our thrifty tips of the week. Little tips and tricks to help you when you're out in the thrift stores.
Okay, are you going on a trip? Are you getting ready to go somewhere? Maybe you're going to drive to Disneyland. So on your way, before you go, ask Siri. Well, that's when you're traveling, actually. Go to the thriftshopper.com and find any thrift stores along the way. And also, booksellfinder.com is where you can find Friends of Library book sales. And usually they're like on Saturdays, Sundays. So map out a plan and know where you're going, but also call ahead of time, because a lot of times they go out of business. I've driven to one and there's nothing there. So I always call and I just say, what are your hours today? And then I find out if they're not answering, nobody's home. And then I think Jason wishes he would have done this when he was just in Florida recently, right?
Yeah.
You missed a thrift store that would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Especially for me.
Well, yeah, not so much even that, but I had my, when I travel, kind of to tie off of what Debbie's saying, when I travel to source, I go geek level where I've got a spreadsheet with each store, and I keep track of the CDs I'm purchasing, how many are Christmas, what I spent, and then I got my numbers. And so I was on my way to a record store that just wasn't open on Tuesdays, and I didn't bother to notice that fact. I'm like,
bummer. Yeah. Yeah, you always want to be prepared, because they are all over the place, these thrift stores, and it makes it fun. And if you're planned ahead, then it's easier to tell your hubby, can we stop here just for a minute?
Well, I'll make sure to tell my hubby.
Okay.
All right, so here's my little tip, and this isn't going to be universal, but it just happened it caught my eye. So while I was at Savers in San Jose, while I'm ringing out, on the counter, they had this, and they're the only ones who did it, but it's like when you're at a gas station, the impulse buys are right in front of you.
Yes.
So what they did was they took all their Christmas CDs, and at every single register, there was a little crate full of them. So although the other registers weren't open, I just walked over and checked them all, and I found 2 good out of print Christmas CDs.
Nice.
So the tip is, don't ignore the impulse item purchases. Sometimes they're going to be some gems, going to be some good stuff. They also had Christmas cards up there. Sometimes they have racks of CDs right at the front. So I always leaf through those as I'm waiting to ring out. And if I happen to have Stacy with me, I leave her in line and keep on shopping.
Good idea. Yeah, ours had some key rings recently. So our Savers has things like that too. Smart, very smart.
Yeah, and I thought it was a good idea on their part. Like, you're ringing out, you're like, oh, I could use some Christmas music. Good for them.
Bad for you, because maybe some of the good ones sold already.
Oh, I know. But to find 2 out of 7 counters, I was excited.
That's awesome.
All right. Now it's time for You Have Got to Be Shipping Me. Little tips and tricks, what to do and what not to do when it comes to shipping.
Oh, righty. This is a Lego that we got at the 99-cent store. Bill went in like 2 years ago, I think, and stocked up on these Legos, and we've been slowly selling. Well, we got a message from a buyer saying, would you please wrap this carefully, because they bought one from a buyer and it came in an envelope, and the package was destroyed. And a lot of this is collectible stuff. So I said, absolutely. We totally know. We understand. We ship in a box. So I got a nice big box. We wrapped it in tissue. We were very, very careful. I got a message today from one of my very good friends, Mary Jo. She had bought a book with a dust jacket, and the person put it in just an envelope. Well, of course, the dust jacket was ripped when she got it. And this has happened to her multiple times. So I told her from now on, but please don't ship things in an envelope where it's going to get mangled. Boxes are not that expensive, and they really protect things.
Yeah, I got a couple pieces of glass in the mail today. They just chucked them in an envelope. And the one
Were they broke?
Not like glasses to drink out of, but like little glass beads. And I'm like, what? But that's not my shipping tip. That's not my shipping tip.
I always think about how much weight is going to be on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean?
Look, for those of you who are new to selling online and to shipping, the big tubs, the big Gaylords they push around the post office, it'll hold 1,000 pounds. So in that 1,000 pounds, someone's always the bottom. So your stuff has to be shipped like you're always the bottom one on 1,000 pounds. So, when I pack breakables, I remember the first time I did this, we packed a breakable and I chucked it out the door down the hall, and my assistant went like this. I'm like, if we can't do that here, it won't make it to the customer.
Yeah.
And that's when I hear people say, I don't want one of the excuses for not shipping internationally is, well, I'm worried about it breaking. I pack no differently if it's going to Los Angeles or if it's going to Japan.
That's right.
because they pack them well, and they can make the trip 3.5 hours, or they make the trip over the ocean 20 hours, and it still gets there in one piece. So that shouldn't be an excuse. You should pack well enough that it should be shipped anywhere.
Well, I learned too from Amazon, when you send things in like to the FBA, it should fall off a 4-foot drop onto a cement floor and survive, or they don't want you to send it into their warehouse.
Now, Rob's trying to give me grief in the chat saying, but you ship Tiki mugs and envelopes. Yes. Will you grab me that one, please, real quick? I just happen to have one ready to go. Yes, but they're in a custom box that happens to fit in an envelope. I don't just chuck the mug into an envelope and hope for the best. It is a custom built box around it. And then this ships for $6.90 anywhere in the country, including Alaska, Hawaii, Guam, U.S. Virgin Islands, and American Samoa. But that's still not my shipping tip.
Okay. Oh, I can't wait for it.
All right. So, look, I love Southwest, and here's why I love Southwest. Because 2 bags fly free. So when you're out and about and you run across, and you're on vacation or you're on a sourcing trip, and you run across more goods than you expected, go to a Goodwill and buy a piece of luggage.
Yes.
Now, sometimes you have to go to 2 because the first Goodwill I went to had 4 pieces of luggage. All 4 were missing a wheel. Throw it away. What? Like, what are you going to do with a missing wheel piece of luggage? Seriously. Why would you even put it out? So then this Goodwill, they had 30 pieces of luggage, all different sizes with all the wheels. And that was $12. And I filled it with CDs to bring home, cheaper than shipping them home to myself. And I was already flying home. So when you can, fly Southwest. 2 bags fly free.
Oh, for sure. Did you expect to find as many CDs as you did on this trip?
This is not a paid advertisement. I didn't expect to find enough that I had to buy, because also our good friend Don had just picked some of the stores that I was going to, and he was posting pictures not knowing I was coming. So I was like, sad trombones. Bah, bah, bah. I figured he got them all. Now he missed a few things. I'm sure some things are replenished, but man, next thing I know, in this suitcase, I could not fit one more CD in. It was about 100 pounds with the weight of the suitcases of the 2 I had of CDs, and CDs weigh 4 ounces. So when you have 100 pounds of CDs,
that's a lot.
Oh, and then we had another good question. Is it too late to be listing Christmas CDs? Hell no. You will sell Christmas CDs all the way up to Christmas. You will sell CDs on Christmas. You will sell Christmas CDs. You will sell Christmas CDs on New Year's Eve. You will sell Christmas CDs on New Year's Day. You will sell Christmas CDs in the first week of January. Keep listing. I mean, all the stuff I just bought this weekend, last 2 days, maybe a third of it's Christmas. It's all getting listed tomorrow and Saturday. So,
well, last year we sold a $125 children's CD 3 days after Christmas that I paid 50 cents for at Rasputin.
Hey, Rob says CDs weigh a lot. CDs weigh 4 ounces. Is that a lot compared to what? A feather? 4 ounces is not a lot of weight.
100 CDs weigh a lot.
Yeah. All right.
That's so awesome.
Our eBay tip of the week. Little tips and tricks to help with your online selling business.
Okay. In case you haven't heard about the eBay sweepstakes that's going on right now, I wanted to touch on this lightly. And first of all, we are not responsible if you don't read the rules and if you don't win. There's a lot of rules. Make sure you read them. I put the link down here. That's a short link to go read the official rules. But the main thing is they're giving away, the grand prize is a trip to eBay Open. Registration, your airfare, your hotel. It's going to be amazing. And then each week they're giving away one $500 eBay gift card. So you can enter 4 different ways, but you can only enter once per day on each one. And you have to do it on eBay. So you can't go on your own Facebook account and do your picture and do everything that goes with it on your own. It has to be on eBay's Facebook. So read these rules very carefully. What they want you to do is show maybe a picture of you shopping or shipping, and then you have to hashtag it correctly, and you have to say what you're doing in it. So it's a awesome sweepstakes, but I want everybody to understand, follow the rules or it won't count. You can only enter once per day on 4 different social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you can also go online to that link right there. So go out there and do it, but make sure you know what you're doing and follow these rules very carefully.
Let me guess. You type this up, and that's why we see the red squiggly lines.
I know. It wasn't there until I went to copy, and I tried everything to get rid of it. And I said, forget it.
All right. So how do you get rid of it? You right-click it and click Add to Dictionary.
Oh.
And then that will not be a misspelling anymore on your computer.
Well, it wasn't there until all the way to the end, and I said, forget it. My boss was yelling at me, asking me, where's your eBay tips?
But yeah, Debbie keeps bugging me to enter it, which I should, but I've just been so busy. Like, I get to the end of the day and I didn't do these 10 things. I'm like, oh, well. But yes, if you can, do it.
Good luck, everybody.
Win a trip. What the heck?
And what I love is we now know that eBay Open will be in Las Vegas again this year. It's been usually the last week of July. So start planning for it because it is a fun time. I would love to see the thrifting board sell it out. It does sell out every year now. So don't wait around. When they announce eBay Open, registration is open. Buy your ticket.
All right. So look, this is something I teach all the time, especially talk about it in my classes. And I definitely talk about it in my CD webinar. When you're an online seller, there's usually two schools of thought. Are you selling it for a lower dollar amount, but you're moving it quicker and turning your money quicker? That's the fast nickel. Or do you have the funds to be able to slow it down, but wait for that seller, or excuse me, that buyer that's going to pay the bigger money? That is the slow dime. What I recommend to everyone in general is try for the middle 7.5 cents. Don't go fast nickel because you're kind of racing to the bottom. And most people don't have the time or the money to wait for that slow dime. But I wanted to show that $375 CD. I listed it on January 11th. So it was in my store for 11 months and 2 days. And just waiting for that right buyer, being patient, not sweating it. I mean, I only had $8 invested, knowing what my return was going to be. So it didn't bother me. And so almost 11 months to the day, I turned $8 into $375. Now, I wouldn't go slow nickel on, $8 items. Let's get that stuff moving. You shouldn't be listening to that stuff. But, if you got expensive items, the amount of customers who are going to come around and pay $375 are very little. So you just got to wait for that time when they need it. So if you can be patient, wait, get your money.
So now I'm curious, has something happened with these guys? I've never heard of them. So it makes me wonder, did somebody die? Is somebody in the news recently? And that's why someone said, hey, I got to find this CD.
No, I had never heard of them until I found this, Deb. I saw it. And I'm like, well, I like the name of the group, Lothar and the Hand People. Yeah, I'm all over that. And then when I scanned it, and the rank was 1 million.
Wow.
But it didn't scare me because no one had a brand new one.
That's right. For $8?
Yeah. So... and that little bit of cellophane, it changes the game exponentially. Yes. You can get a used like new for $2.25, or for a piece of cellophane, you can give me $150 more.
So when was this CD made? In the 70s?
Well, yeah, the album came out in the mid to late 60s. It's all, when you hear it, you'll be put into a trance. You'll probably go rob a bank or something. It's really weird. Yeah. So listen to it later. It's really bizarro. Yeah.
That cracks
But
me
if you
up.
can wait, especially for your high ticket items, wait. There is a point where I would start down, knocking down the price. But on a $400 CD, it's going to be a couple of years. And the same with the collectible Tiki mugs. We were just talking about Tiki mugs earlier. There's a few mugs that consistently sell for over $1,000. There is not a lot of customers. Every Tiki collector wants them, but there's only a few customers who can spend $1,000 for a mug. And so you just have to wait until that person's ready to buy or is looking for it. So you can't put up $1,000 mug and it didn't sell in a week and go, why didn't it sell? Why is no one looking? Well, it's a $1,000 mug. You just got to wait for the customer, or you got to wait for someone to win some money at bingo or on the slot machine or something. That's when they go buy $1,000 mugs.
And this time of year too, I have stuff selling I've had a long time. Christmas gift type things are selling now.
All right. And our viewer tip, what did I decide for this? There we go.
Okay. This is a longer one to read, but basically we think Anthony and then Malachi added to this one. Remember? Oh, Malika. Yeah, I can't. I need my glasses.
Malachi. You just wanted to throw in the corner really quick there. Malachi.
My apologies. Remember, peeps, now is the time where people are most willing to make new accounts on eBay in order to buy a Christmas gift for someone. Just like I said, weird stuff of mine's all selling. Make that process easier for them by lowering your standards for the buyer requirements, allowing them to buy from you with zero feedback. We love our zero feedback buyers. I love it when someone buys from me, they have zero feedback, and they just open their account that day. And then if you really want to be nice, you can check, the -1 or 2, because sometimes people do make mistakes. So he gives you the directions there to go in to the left-hand corner, select account settings, and hover over your name and just follow these steps here to set it up so that you're not blocking out zero buyers, zero feedback buyers. We all started somewhere with zero. And then primary shipping address and a location, have a feedback score, all these rules, watch the show again, pause here, follow these directions to set it up. And then the other person said, and make sure you don't have doesn't have a PayPal account option checked. This person had that one checked and they missed out on a sale, because there are other ways to pay, especially now. So this is a really good tip to make sure that you're not leaving people out that can't come and buy from you. What a sad thing if somebody sees something they really want for their grandma, but they can't buy from you because you set your rules up too strict.
Grandma's Christmas is ruined because you stopped their grandson from buying them a gift, you meanie.
That's right.
All right, let's get our guest in here, shall we? Perhaps. There we go.
Hi.
Hey there.
Hello, everybody. It's time for Fun with Guusje. Hey, Guusje, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. All right, so let's just kick it off, I asked you if I could ask you about this on the air, and you said, yeah, no problem. How many, take a conservative guess, how many different ways you think your name has been pronounced in your life?
Oh, heavens. I don't know. I went to school during the Khrushchev era, so we can start with that version. There have been many, 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 many.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's a pretty
I'll
name.
this back up just so you can see the spelling of her name is Guusje. And so what was the funniest mispronunciation? Do you remember?
To be honest, no. And it's pronounced Guusje with a very hard G in the back of the G. Guusje.
Guusje.
I can always tell who's been to Hebrew school because they can do it, because it's the same CH as in Hanukkah or Challah or Chutzpah.
Oh, interesting. It's very pretty.
Thank you.
And that is Dutch, correct?
It's very Dutch. I'm a birthright.
It's very Dutch. I got to imagine you're the only Guusje Moore in the world, right?
I do suspect I am.
Yeah, I have the exact opposite problem with that. Thanks, mother. All right, Guusje, so how long have you been selling online? You're one of those old timers.
Since 2000, so yeah, I've been at it a long time.
You remember what month?
I think it was July.
Oh, I got you like by 3 months.
Oh.
I was working full time, and I was a teacher librarian, so I would have in the summertime and had time to deal with it.
And where'd you start? Like, what was the first platform? Like, I'm going to give this a try.
eBay. I started out selling books. I had duplicate copies of favorite children's books that were out of print, and I started selling those.
Nice.
Now, okay. So it begs the question, since you were just starting this, why'd you have duplicate copies of it back then?
Because I'm a librarian and I'm a book geek, and I would go to library sales. I love library sales. And I'd find books that I loved as a child that I knew were out of print, and I just had to rescue them. I couldn't bear the thought of them going to the landfill.
Oh, no. Absolutely.
And I was on this listserv of people who love this author named Maud Hart Lovelace, who wrote a series called Betsy Tacy. They were all out of print, and we were all people who had copies were selling their extras to people who didn't have copies. And that's how it started. Now, when you were selling, were you selling at higher prices, or back then were you just kind of like, oh, I want to help each other out? Back then I was being nice. The series has since been reprinted. It's kind of like CDs or, music. It gets reprinted, and then instantly it's not nearly worth what it used to be, but it was fun while they were out of print. Oh yeah, especially first editions too.
I'll tell you though, did you see my Christmas webinar on the Secret Beach?
Yes, I watched part of it last night. I haven't seen the whole thing yet.
So the one thing that caught me off guard when I was prepping that was a CD that was out of print has come back into print. And when CDs come back into print that were first introduced in the 80s, the sound quality on the new versions are superior.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, out of the blue, the original is getting a lot of money again, which makes no sense to me because the modern version is way better. Way better. So whereas I used to skip things that are back in print, now I got to revisit them. I guess the greatest want them.
Yeah, sometimes the ex-library copies of children's books will still sell because people that's the copy that somebody read growing up, and you open it up and it smells like an old library book, and you instantly are 5 years old again.
Yes, exactly.
All right, so this is for two of you since you both sell books. Is there anything you can do about that old book smell? Can you get it out at all? Can you dampen it? Can you lessen it?
There's also some people swear by ozone machines, some people swear by kitty litter, some people put it in the freezer, some people put dryer sheets. If it smells too gnarly, I just don't deal with it, period.
Yeah, we had a set of the Time Life art books that come in the slipcase. We were selling consignment, and I knew I have a very strong, sensitive nose, so we brought them home. I took them out and opened them up and set them all over our family room because we have tile floor, and I thought maybe we'll try to air them out. I came walking down the stairs and almost passed out because the smell of 30 of these was so overwhelming, and I just took them to the thrift store, another thrift store. I said, I can't deal with it. So yeah, and some people put them don't they put them in kitty litter or charcoal somehow? And I don't mess with them because even if you think the smell came out for now, it could come back by the time the buyer gets it. And
Especially if you send it in a plastic mailer and it has lots of time to fumigate.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I'm just like, no, it's not worth it. There's too many other books out there. I just don't want to take that chance.
So if you found, let's say you found an out of print book, like one of the ones that you really know well, it's worth $500, but it stinks. Do you still pass it, or do you sell it with that caveat that, by the way, this stinks?
I put it on eBay with a lot of pictures and in very large capital letters, bolded. This book smells. I would never sell that on Amazon.
I like it. Right to the point. I like it.
Yeah. Now, if it's a kind of a faint, sometimes they have a little bit of a moldy smell, kind of like a musty, like it's been in a basement. So yeah, I have sold books like that too, and people buy them, but I let them know up ahead it smells.
I mean, I've sold a book that was in 5 different pieces because it was a book of Chinese art prints, very rare, and it was literally falling apart. It sold it on eBay for $200, and it went to China, no less.
Wow!
I love that when something goes back home.
Yes,
that's awesome.
So I shared that moo tonight because I'm like, it went back home to Hawaii.
Yeah, find what you need on eBay.
What I like about eBay is that you can be very honest about what you've got, and the buyer knows exactly what they're getting if they'll just look at your pictures.
All right, so you started on eBay, but there was a time when you were like, screw eBay. I'm Amazon. Woo!
Yeah, I was working full time, and I started doing Amazon FBA, which at the time, this is when Amazon FBA just started, was not nearly as time consuming as eBay. Writing listings is time consuming. Then I was mostly a bookseller, so it was a matter of scan the book, slap a label on it, put it in a box, and send it off to Amazon. That was in the good old days. But Amazon has since changed the rules, added more rules, changed warehouses, added fees, and I've gone back to eBay.
Welcome back.
And I retired and had more time. That made a big difference. And I stopped doing retail arbitrage, decided I was just getting too risky, and started focusing on used clothing, which was something I swore I'd never sell, and here I am selling it.
Easy to find.
And so what kind of clothing are you going? Everything, or are you got a specialty?
I'm a label whore. If it's a good label, I'll sell it.
So some Sears pleated sportsman jeans from the early 80s. That's all about what you're about, right?
Yeah, right.
I should ask for a picture. I'm like, man, I want to see a picture of you like someplace historic in Italy wearing these awful jeans. I mean, these beautiful jeans.
With a high heel, with a guy's shoe with a heel about this big.
All right. So when so you're hardcore Amazon FBA. Had you abandoned eBay totally, or were you still doing stuff in it?
It was always there on the back burner. It just was not a major part of what I did because I was doing RA. But when I stopped doing RA, which I stopped doing RA about 18 months ago, I that's when I started focusing on clothing because, frankly, when you go into the thrift store, what do you see the most of? At least here in Houston, you see clothes, racks and racks and racks of clothes.
And just in case people don't know what RA is, retail arbitrage, when you go into new stores and buy new things. And we started FBA. We were in a eBay. I mean, a Yahoo group together.
Right.
Whoa, you guys are really old.
Yes.
Were you in an
and
AOL chat room together too?
I think we did about 10 years ago in that Yahoo group.
Yeah, and then Facebook came out. But before that, this is when FBA first started. And Bob, Willie, and Karen were telling all of us, and we were all like, we're not sending our stuff into Amazon. Well, then we started doing it. It was like, wow, but you can see the progression because she's done it longer than I have. I quit earlier because of the tech, the Nexus, the taxes too, through the Nexus and all of that. But Amazon is still, as you just showed us, a very good place to sell items, Jason.
Oh, yeah. And I'm actually going to do a little FBA. I wanted to do it for Q4 for Christmas. Life got too hectic, so it didn't happen. But I've got tons and tons of cassettes. I got a list. And so I'm going to take about 40 higher end cassettes, like $20 to $40 cassettes, and send them in and see if there's a quicker move on them.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm still selling on Amazon. I sell books on Amazon, and I'm ungated in DVDs, which is like gold.
How in the world are you ungated in DVDs?
Because I was grandfathered when they shut it down, and there was a brief period where you could submit invoices from this really sleazy company, the company that supplies DVD dumps to dollar stores, and they'd accept them.
Wow.
So I'm ungated in DVDs over $25, which is like gold.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. I should check my account. I was shocked to see that I can sell some new CDs.
I mean, I was selling DVDs by the truckloads as much as I was selling CDs. I got gated in DVDs, but when they gated CDs, I got grandfathered in. I've never had to turn in any invoices or anything, but there was a point where I was selling just as many DVDs. I'm shocked that they left me in CDs and then kicked me out of DVDs.
Yeah, I can only sell some CDs, and most of them I can't. So who knows? I don't. Amazon
I finally found one. I finally found one I could not sell. It was a Sesame Street one.
Oh.
Good heavens.
I had to be approved in Sesame Street.
Yeah, I'm sure.
All right, so
it was fun while it lasted.
Yep.
When you get back to eBay, I mean, when you really focus, like, all right, I'm going to switch my focus. Hardcore, I'm doing these clothes. What was the first thing you really learned in the clothing department there? Like, all right, I got to skip this, or I got to always grab this. Beyond just the labels themselves.
I really run by labels. Which labels are popular now? Back when I first started, I was picking up Tommy Bahama. I almost never pick up Tommy Bahama anymore. I'm afraid at least for me, that ship has sailed. Keeping up with what labels are currently hot. Patagonia does really well for me. Vineyard Vines does really well for me. Lululemon does really well for me.
All right, so
nice.
And that's a great tip. But here's the question: how do you keep up on what's hot?
Facebook. I'm on your board. I'm on a couple of Facebook groups for people who sell on Poshmark. Poshmark is extremely brand driven, very, very brand driven. And actually, all the hours and hours I spent in Marshalls and TJ Maxx has worked out too, because if it's a brand I've tripped over at TJ Maxx 942 times, I know no one is going to buy it used if they can go down to Marshalls and get it for the same amount of money.
Good point.
What? So you brought Posh. Are you on Posh?
I'm on Posh. My daughter got me started on Posh. My daughter thrifts now too, so I the next generation is also doing it, and she started selling on Poshmark and really likes it, and suggested that I give it a try. So I did, and I still get 3 times the amount of sales on eBay as I do on Poshmark, but it's another set of eyes, and it's a whole different demographic.
Yeah, that's smart.
Much younger.
Now, are you?
So you
go ahead, Deb. Go ahead.
I was saying, are you double listing? Same thing on eBay.
I double list almost everything.
Okay.
And cross my fingers that it won't sell.
Yeah, I'm about to do that with Christmas CDs starting tomorrow. So yeah, I know the feeling. What? So are you doing all the, having the parties and the whole thing on Poshmark? Are you doing the whole thing?
I did in the beginning, and then we went to Ireland this summer for a couple of weeks, and I put it on the back burner. When I got back, I just couldn't get motivated. The one thing I do not like about Poshmark is they want you to be active on the app, which I find the biggest bore on the planet. I don't want to be active on the app. I don't want to make friends.
I don't like the social part of social media. Screw being social.
On this app. So I have now gotten it down to I share I found that if I shared everything in my closet once a day and spend a little bit of time doing some following, I got the same amount of sales that if I religiously did all the parties. So I have cut back on the social aspect. It's something you can do when you're standing in line at Goodwill waiting to check out. You pull out your phone and do some sharing.
Yeah, that's
a
what
good
I've
idea.
done.
So yeah, when Stacy's not with me and I have to stand in line, I could do some sharing. All right.
Yeah, you know.
So we got a couple questions from the chat. Let me hop over there before we miss them.
Yeah, I can't see the chat, so let me know what.
So Adele says, do you make as much on eBay as you do on Amazon, or as you did?
Not as much at the moment, but my cost of goods are way less. And the Amazon fee and the eBay fees are less, so I'm getting by. I'm making less, but my expenses. How's that for a good answer?
That's a great answer. Bob wants to know if when you're semi-gated in CDs, will it still show you the rank? Yeah, you can be.
Yeah, I use that Amazon Seller app on iOS.
Anyone sees the rank, and if you're using the Amazon Seller app, you'll see the overall rank. The good thing about CDs on the computer is it shows you the overall rank of the specific title in CDs as a whole, and then it breaks it down. So if it's a Hawaiian band, it'll say like, ranked 800,000 in CDs, but then in Hawaiian it's ranked like, 422. And sometimes things have multiples like classical, opera, vocal, So even though it's not the best rank in overall, when it's a high rank within a genre, it's a good CD. So keep that in mind.
Good point.
Sorry, I went nerd level CD. Sorry.
That's okay.
I go down the rabbit hole. Like I could just yam around all day about CDs. I can't wait to pack my bags tomorrow.
Yeah,
Christmas for me, and I just bought them 2 days ago.
I'll put in a plug for your webinar on CDs. It was excellent. I learned so much.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Now, have you got to the point where I gave you? Oh, you haven't seen the end of it yet. The new Christmas one, because I gave you homework to do this week.
Okay, I will.
I forgot.
Debbie forgot to do her homework. Naughty.
So I want to ask, what is the coolest thing that you've sold online?
Oh, good heavens. I've sold like over 8,000 things online, and at the moment I'm getting a complete blank on the coolest thing.
Well, I'll tell you what you told us in your information.
Okay, what did I say on my information sheet?
a book called Zen Dust?
Oh, yes, Zen Dust. That one. That was my $800 book, which has since been reprinted and is no longer an $800 book. Found it at a library sale. It didn't have a barcode. Had to type in the ISBN. This was before this was back when you used Scout Pal, before they even had all these new fancy scouting tools, and was shocked when I saw the price, and was even more shocked when it sold.
$800.
I know.
Amazing.
I've sold 2 $800 books in my time. That one and some incredibly obscure technical book on weather patterns.
Wow. And I know you
about nerd.
You said that you find a lot of oil books because you're in Houston.
I'm in Houston, so my niche is oil and gas and petroleum and natural gas engineering, of which I know nothing about. I have a history degree and an education degree, but I know publishers and I know buzzwords, so I've kind of learned what to look for.
And I love how you say that you find the books that bring in the most money are books you don't find interesting at all.
No, absolutely no interest in reading about stratigraphy or petroleum geology. Thank you very much. So I never want to keep them. And I'm not a fashionista, so I rarely want to keep the clothes I find either.
I was going to kind of say that, and not in a mean way, but you're not when your normal clothes, I don't see you be like, look at this brand. So for you to say like I'm a brand whore, I'm like, wow, that kind of caught me off guard.
Well, because on eBay and on Poshmark, people search by brand.
I get it, but yeah, I mean, it's where I'm deficient. I don't know, outside of like bras and robes and Hawaiian stuff, I don't know enough about women's clothing. I should know more because I'm in the thrift store already.
Well, the
Yeah.
other thing that I do is I'm hooked on Project Runway, or I used to watch Project Runway, and they always had designers as guests. And I'd listen to the commentary, and that's how I did learn a lot of designer names that way.
Smart. Well, that leads me into one of your other tips. You also watch another channel on TV, and that helps you sell a lot of a certain type of clothes. What channel is that?
It's the Golf Channel.
And why do you watch the Golf
I
Channel?
don't watch the Golf Channel, but my wife has an 8 handicap, or maybe it's a 7.5 at the moment. So the Golf Channel is on 24/7 in my house.
So
And-
you're listening.
So yeah, I have my laptop, and we're doing parallel play, for lack of a better word, and I listen. And I don't know how to I know how to play golf actually, but I'm lousy, so I don't. But I know a lot about golf clothes and a lot about golf courses, and have discovered that golfers absolutely love to get shirts from golf courses they've never been to.
Oh, great tip.
So I will go down, and for example, this one, let's see, can I hold this up?
Got
This
props
is-
and everything. Right. Yay.
Wow. Yeah, hey, I used to be a school librarian. I've got props out there. This is from St Andrews, the old course in St Andrews in Scotland, the home of golf.
Oh,
And unlike NFL shirts, which you can buy by going to NFL.com, anybody and their dog can buy an NFL shirt. The only way to get this shirt is to go to Scotland, or have a friend who went to Scotland and got it for you.
wow. Now, did you get that in Scotland and Ireland, or did you buy it at thrift
I
store?
got this at a Goodwill in Houston, Texas.
Awesome.
Because one thing that golfers do, I have learned, having gone on many golf trips with golfers, where I go to Goodwill and they go golfing, is that you bring back shirts for all your friends. So it's extremely common in the thrift stores in the better parts of town to find golf shirts that have almost never been worn that were brought back as gifts.
Good
And
tip.
and this one is, the brand is Peter Millar, who, if you've ever done any clothing, you know, he's a high-end shirt maker. He sold at Nordstrom's. This shirt is from a course called Whispering Pines, which is in Magnolia, Texas, of all places, designed by Tiger Woods. Very expensive course, membership only. They don't even allow golf tournaments at it. And this is the second one of these I found. I don't think this has ever been worn. And the last one I had sold for $40, and I expect this one will too.
Nice. Ooh. We might have to have
I want to
another.
switch gears because there's two questions I want. I want an answer. I want to know. Who's your favorite author? That was asked in the chat.
You're asking a librarian your favorite author. It's like asking a mother who her favorite child is.
Oh, my mother has a favorite child. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay, my favorite author is Marhart Lovelace, who is a children's book author of the Betsy Tacy series, who I read when I started reading it when I was 8. I still read it, and that's how I got started on eBay. That's how I got started with Amazon. That's how I've met many, many friends. So that's my favorite author.
And what's your favorite book you sold? Was there another book besides the Zen Dust one?
Actually, I enjoy selling kidlit a lot, children's books, because you get the nicest notes back from the readers, from your buyers, about how I read this book when I was little and I want to read it to my grandchild, or this was my favorite book and I opened it up and it took me back to my childhood. So I would say selling books like the Betsy Tacy books, or any piece of nice nostalgic. That's one thing I like about eBay. You've got some contact with your buyers and it's fun.
Oh yeah, I think I shared it last week. I sold a industrial like metal cassette, and the guy wrote me and said, "This is the perfect Christmas gift for my girlfriend." I'm like,
Oh.
on cassette. I'm like, what year is it? But okay, hey, I'm happy that you found the perfect gift in my store. I'm very excited.
I love kidlit too, because I don't think a lot of people respect it. When you go to garage sales, they're dumped in boxes, and I don't think a lot of booksellers, I think they skip over kidlit. So
Well, you have to know it. It's book selling, I always say, is an art and a science. I mean, they have now the scanning tools and made it a lot easier. But after you do it, as Debbie knows that, you get this spidery sixth sense. Jason, you've got it for music, where you just know that this is worth getting.
Yep.
Oh, hell yeah. All right. Well, speaking of things that are worth getting, let's talk about your score. So first one is your Tory Burch shoes.
Okay. Yeah, those came from Tory Burch is a really hot brand at the moment. You have to be a little bit careful. The shoes and the purses are fake, so you do have to be careful. Those came from Goodwill, and I think that those sold in less than a month. I did pay $15 for them, but they were well worth. It was well worth it.
Oh,
I'd
heck
say
yeah.
so.
15 to 100 bucks.
Too.
Nice.
All right, this awesome Patricia Rhodes 1980s dress. Oh, go with my 1980s jeans.
Favorite. Yeah, believe it or not, I found that as a tip that I got from you, Jason. It was in the Halloween costumes.
Nice. Yeah. I like when my tips come to life.
And it didn't look or feel like a Halloween costume. So I looked it up and said, oh my goodness. And it sat for about 6 months. I will say it did sit. That was another one of those, like your $375 CD. You just had to sit and wait for the right buyer. And somebody snapped it up and it went to somebody in Brooklyn.
Nice.
I'm sorry. I realized I wasn't sharing the shoes. So here's the shoes. Sorry, my bad. And now here's the dress.
Dresses and blouses.
Sorry about that, everybody. I was so transfixed. I'm just sitting back and not producing like I should be.
No, you showed the shoes. We saw them.
No, you saw them. The audience didn't see them.
Oh.
Starbucks mugs. Now, I thought these were duds, but
actually, just lost my earbuds. In your class, which I also recommend, you said Starbucks is done, and I agree, Starbucks is done. I used to do a lot of Starbucks, and I had these kicking around. I was tired of them, and so I put them in a lot, and they sold within a week.
Nice.
And they're gone. Thank God.
yeah, that was the best part. Like, yay, goodbye. Don't come back.
Don't come back. I've got to stop picking up Starbucks mugs. It's now become a very bad habit.
Yeah, they're so easy to find.
And what are these flashcards? What?
No, those are some bizarre legal. I think those are those legal type flashcards. Found them at Goodwill. The price on Amazon was quite nice, but these had writing all over them. The person who'd used them had annotated upside down the other. So I put it on eBay. I didn't dare put that on Amazon, and sold quite promptly.
For $89.99. That's awesome.
Yeah, legal and medical flashcards that people use to study for the exams, for the bar exam or the medical exam, do really, really well.
Good to know.
They tend to be ignored. There's a set of law things called, they're yellow, come in a yellow box, Law and a Flash, and there's tons of them out there, and they always sell. They're always worth picking up.
Oh, good.
All right, we got a jigsaw puzzle.
Yep. That's a wooden jigsaw puzzle, and I did not count the pieces, and I did not assemble it, and because frankly, I haven't got the patience or the time. And I said in letters in my listing, I have not counted the pieces. I do not know if this is complete, and it sold again within a week or two, quite quickly. Wooden jigsaw puzzles always sell well.
Nice.
But not everything can be winners. You have some duds, just like the rest of us.
Oh, that's the. I cannot sell ties for the life of me. I don't know what it is about me and ties. I've stopped. Other than Vineyard Vines, I've stopped buying them. That's Jerry Garcia. You'd think it would sell. Cannot get rid of that sucker. Well, I finally sold it. Pretty much gave it away.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Ralph Lauren quilt.
I know it's a Pillasham. I had that thing for 2 years, and it was. Yeah. I took the $5 just to make it go away.
Yeah.
And I'm happy.
All right, so we got one more question, then I'm going to share something, and then we're going to call it a night.
All righty.
Where'd the question go? Do you usually stick with hardback books to sell? That's from Linda.
No, I will sell. I sell a lot of not mass market paper books. Mass market paper books are the little paperback books, but the other general size paperback books, heck, I'll sell those any day. I think my 3 favorite words for book selling are niche nonfiction. In other words, very obscure nonfiction. The more obscure, the better. Or unless somebody just died. I sold a biography of George Bush today after he died for $20, which was selling for like 5 cents the day before he died.
Yep. Nice. All right. So let's end on this because someone asked in the chat earlier, should I still be listing Christmas CDs? So just bought this for $5 in a store, and I just sold Christmas poop for $30. So
wow.
yeah. So, yeah. So $5 to $30. It was listed less than 48 hours. Boom, boom.
Nice.
Guess what? I got 4 more. Woo! All right. So if you're not selling Christmas shit, you should be. All right, Guusje, thank you very much. Everybody, give us a thumbs up down below if you enjoyed the show. If you learned anything, if you didn't learn nothing, just give us a thumbs up anyway because it's the holiday season. If you have not subscribe down below. When you subscribe, there's a little bell. Click on that bell. It lets you know when I'm going live. Besides the normal shows, I also do some other videos, little things here and there about flipping CDs and stuff like that. And I don't know what time and what our topic is yet for Mom and I, but we will be on this Sunday selling past your expiration date, being thrifty over 50. Do we have something Sunday night? Yes, we have a party. So it'll probably be earlier because we have to go to a Christmas caroling party.
Oh, fun.
I don't sing, so I can't believe I said those words out loud, but yes. So summer, I'm coming over to Christmas Carol for your party.
Oh.
All right, Guusje, thank you very much, my dear. It's always good to see you, whether it is in person or virtually. Thank you to the live studio audience. And Debbie, thank you very much for producing and co-hosting. And thanks, everyone, for watching. And with that, we're going to go grab some cocktails.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Have a good evening.